Hello, I am the Dark Fae, and welcome back to Confessions of a First-Time Dungeon Master. As always, if you missed the last session, I will put a link to it up in the corner over here. You can go watch that, get caught up, and then come back and see what happened next. So without further ado, I believe this is session 21. Let's get into it. So for this session now, the group has kind of regathered in the keep, and they don't have any outstanding quests, so I told them that we'd be going into a period of kind of downtime. And for this session, the way I prepped, actually had a lot of fun prepping this session because I wanted to do more of like their backstory things. So basically to prep, all I did was like write a bunch of stories, which I thought was a lot of fun. And so I have an idea for each of their backstories and like how they're linked and how they can potentially like find out new information or new quests regarding it. It was a little, what I didn't do a good job with was kind of considering how much I would be able to put in the session, because after I wrote it, I was like, oh, I want to put all of it in, but that's not possible since they can't have like 5 different storylines at once. But I think downtime has always been a little bit weird for me to manage, just because it's kind of like a combination between continuous actions, like things that are kind of happening in the background, versus like actual real-time like role play. And I think it took a little bit for the players to kind of get into it or like come up with what they wanted to do, even though I had asked them to prepare it beforehand, and some of them did, but some of them were kind of still going through the keep, doing some wrap up, and kind of still figuring out what their characters wanted to do, I think. But eventually we kind of got there. So I guess the session started off with kind of them doing a little bit of wrap up from the loot they had gotten before by getting the potions appraised. So they went to Liddy, they found out what all the potions did. The dark blue one, when drunk, basically the drinker becomes very convinced of their own mortality, that they're going to die in some terrible, tragic, violent way very soon. The silver one is a potion that temporarily makes the drinker forget all speech. The one that's red with like white blobs is a potion that makes all your teeth fall out and then a new set immediately grow. And then the little tiny ochre one is actually a little ochre jelly. So they're quickly amassing like little pets and stuff, which is interesting. That's like the third small living creature now that they can choose to take care of. But anyways, after this was a little bit of like, what are you guys doing? What do your characters want to do? Because Valkyrie had told me that she wanted to like kind of apprentice with Liddy and learn a bit more about plants and kind of the forest of rot, and also learn how to make potions. So that was like something that I had her roll for. I gave her a little bit of lore on kind of the difference between the forest of rot like many years past versus like what she knows of it now. And then bit of a tumultuous kind of time for the rest of them, but eventually we got to everyone. Umrig wanted to do his in private, so we had a little session afterwards. But I'll start off with I guess Basil. We were down a player for this. Ivar wasn't there for this, but I had already plans to do a little bit with him and Basil together. So they kind of started off the day with kind of actually sharing some of their backstories with each other, like over breakfast. Like Umragaset mentioned a little bit about like his memory loss. Tyrell mentioned a bit about how he wants to find a magic sword, and so they spend some time looking for a magic sword in the city for Tyrell, of which there are not many, but like eventually that leads them to Fernay's, because she has some magic swords for sale. One of them is a I forgot, one of them is a moon touch sword, which seemed to be the one that they're interested in. I think the other one was just a +1. Neither of which they can really afford right now. But also in that time, like Basil and Ivar went with Terral to go to Fernay. Timelines are kind of all over the place because because Basil and Ivar, they had a shared dream where they basically had visions of Yorkaden, the god of knowledge and like magic ability. Um, and so Yorkaden kind of showed them this location, kind of like in the frozen mountains, and then the scene went into this kind of through a labyrinth and into this like chamber of like dark magic and runes and stuff. And this one has like a purplish orb that kind of has darkness weaving around it, and they see a figure who is much like Vivar 71 approach and kind of fight a shadowy guardian creature, eventually prevailing, and then the orb kind of splits, and like the whole chamber actually kind of like cracks and like almost splits in two. And then he gets like another vision of kind of a similar room in a different place. This one is a wasteland. And they learn a bit of lore that the black moon is a symbol of Wistria, the goddess of the lurking dark, or like things that are like madness and like terror. That's kind of like her domain. And so after that dream, that's when Basil and Ivar accompany Terral to Fernay's shop, and Basil asks if she knows anything about like these symbols or has any like books about this kind of a lore. She does find like 2 books, one that's a hand-bound cover of like Wistria and Yorkaden. They have like their symbols on the covers, and then one that is a journal of like an acolyte of Wistria's. So they get some interesting lore information there. Mostly that. Oh, and he also does research on. I guess we're switching to Basil now. Basil also does research on like the chasm, the Great Schism, and he kind of there's like a lot of different stories about it because nobody really knows how it came about. Basically, a lot of speculation about what happened before in the Age of Discord with all the different gods. So some say it's the work of Aremsia, some say it's the work of Wistria, some say it's Yorkaden and Hamal protecting the rest of the realm from the Flesh Rovers. But in the book, Basil and Ivar, they kind of find an account that's kind of considered like forbidden or like blasphemous, that Wistria, who was basically Yorkaden's like mortal enemy, because to Wistria, Yorkaden's like dogmas of order and knowledge and like sharpness of mind directly conflict with her like love of chaos and madness and terror and stuff like that. So in that book, they read an account that Wistria had a daughter named Criella, Saint Criella Wist, and in that book it's told that she was actually fell in love with Yorkaden, and I think stopped like her mother from delivering like a killing blow to him, and so Wistria ended up imprisoning her daughter or punishing her somehow, etc. And that is important. But I don't think they know it yet. And then in the book about Wistria, because Ivar, who was reading the book, got a natural 20, I said that he was able to glean kind of from it that there are 6 seals or like guardians. One not quite dead, one carved from ice, one drowned, one among the fouled trees, one bred of mother, and one kept by a lover. So those are kind of hints as to how many of these like orbs and like rooms there are, and like what they might have to do. to break them, unchain something. I've hinted strongly that like those places are linked to some sort of like binding, and Basil has a ring that is bound to him and they haven't been able to get off. So potential there. And then with, let's see, Tyrell also ended up signing up for a harvest festival that I randomly made up from the top of my head, because they were looking to like sign up for some kind of a fight or competition, because he's a champion fighter with not that many like fights under his belt. So they're like, okay, we want to sign up. And I'm like, okay, sure, there's a harvest festival coming up that you could sign up for. So that was like something I had to prep for the next time. And then let's see, for Umric, we did his kind of stuff before or after the session, and because he wanted to kind of keep it on the down low, came up with a few things for him. So for him, he wanted to kind of learn a bit more about like his past and maybe like what reason behind his memory loss, or he wanted to see if he would get any direction from Aremsia, because I kind of forgot that like the whole like it was like a mystery of the reason why he came to the keep, and so he was kind of waiting for some kind of contact that hadn't happened yet. So his backstory is not super fleshed out just because of what he gave me and kind of like the amnesia scenario. But I gave to him that he would probably have a few contacts from Aremsia's covenant that kind of nursed him back to health when he was reborn. So there's like High Priest Kai Isen, who is a drow that is kind of the high priest, the leader of that kind of like religious sector. He's got like an agent that he knows, Rayella, and then like the old woman who nursed him back to health, Yenth. And so he kind of sends a letter to the high priest, sends a couple sending messages to Yenth, and basically he gets kind of the sense that like Aremsia's message may have been like not giving him a message at all, kind of trying to communicate that like she had taken pity on him or like mercy on him, and thus wanted him to kind of be able to live his life the way that he wanted to, with like and then so he also went searching for kind of followers of Aremsia in the Siskorian Keep. He said he wanted to go out to like the Ringed Graveyard and see if there was anyone or any kind of shrine. And he did find kind of a hut of this tiefling with her horns kind of cloven off, and then very old, blind, and with kind of the symbol of Aremsia, which is a black diamond, like in the window above like the curtains that make up her door. And so he had a chat with her, and she kind of reinforced the idea that like no news from Kai Isen or Aremsia probably means that he's free to kind of choose his own path. But she also hints that there's kind of this secret like power inside of him that is dormant, but that she can kind of help reveal to him if he wants to know. But she does warn him that like it'll set him down a path, and like the end of this path cannot be the same as it once was, basically. He doesn't know what that means, but I kind of do. That it's gonna probably involve him like journeying back to his homeland, which he doesn't know, but I will continue to drop hints and stuff. And then like he has to make the choice to not make the choice that's it's inconsistent with what happened in the past, which caused him to be struck down. But basically, she kind of performs this arcane sort of ritual, and he there's a mark on his arm that is that of like a black skull with green flames in the eyes. So that is revealed in like this burning, almost searing, like white hot kind of sensation that doesn't hurt him, but he has that. And then as soon as like the mark comes, like almost as quickly it fades, but like he can feel that it's kind of still there. So something has changed, and I'm debating on whether I want to make that like a mechanic in regards to like maybe his magic or spell casting or something, but I'm still considering. But so that was Umerix. He got a little bit of insight into both himself and kind of what his journey should be for now. Yes, and so I think that covers kind of everyone. So yeah, Downtime was a little funky. No, I don't think everyone has like a very clear idea maybe of like what their characters might want to do or like what might be relevant for their characters to do or study or to talk to in order to like progress either the party's like a quest line or their own backstories. So I think I'll try and handle Downtime a little bit differently, but next time. But so now that they've decided that they also are thinking about heading back to Alith Malar, which is Basil and Ivar's like hometown, to get more information on like what each of them like wants to know. Like Valkyrie wants to know about the Forest of Rot, Umric maybe can find out more about Aremsia, and Tyrell maybe about his magic sword that he's looking for, etc. And then Basil is looking for a way to remove the ring, and also potentially look for the other Warforged who is on the loose somewhere in the world that he and Ivar are supposed to be tracking, but don't seem to want to track. So we'll see. I'm filming this like after we've done next session. So for next session, basically, I'm focusing most on like the Harvest Festival and the fight for Tyrell, and then I don't know. From there, we'll see how long that takes. I feel like sometimes when I'm giving lore stuff or like telling them about like extra little bits of RP or like I don't know, silly little things that they do, I feel like they don't take to it maybe as much as I'd hope. I don't know if it's because like it's not interesting or if it's just like not interesting to them or if they just want to get on with like the main storyline. I'm not sure, but I don't know. But sometimes I feel like I shouldn't talk so much because I feel like they either like stop paying attention or like zone out or don't really care about what I'm saying sometimes. So maybe I need to like tighten things. But then creating a world is like you want to create something that has like a lot of depth and a lot of details to it, no? I don't know. But anyways, that is session 21. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you're enjoying following along with my D&D campaign. Leave a comment down below if you have any interesting downtime ideas or if your character has ever done something totally out of the blue in downtime. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!